from the mists of time, a story of empires, gods, and gold. This is the story of Mexico, a land forged in fire and faith, revolution and rebirth. Our journey begins over 3,000 years ago with the Olmecs, the mother culture of Mesoamerica. They carved colossal stone heads that still gaze out from the jungle, silent witnesses to a civilization that laid the groundwork for all who followed. From their legacy rose the Maya, masters of astronomy and mathematics. In cities like Chichen Itza and Palenque, they built staggering pyramids that pierced the heavens, charting the stars with an accuracy that defies belief. Their calendars were intricate, their writing complex, and their understanding of the cosmos profound. But like all great empires, their golden age waned, and their magnificent cities were slowly reclaimed by the jungle. Then, from the north, a wandering tribe arrived, guided by a prophecy. An eagle, devouring a serpent, perched on a cactus. Here, in the middle of a lake, they would build their capital. This was the birth of the Aztec Empire and their incredible city, Tenochtitlan. A marvel of engineering, this floating metropolis was a bustling hub of trade, art, and religion, home to 250,000 people. The Aztecs were fierce warriors, expanding their empire through conquest, their power seemingly absolute. Their temples ran red with sacrifices, offerings to gods who demanded blood to keep the sun in the sky. It was a world of brutal beauty, a civilization at its zenith. But a new world was dawning, and it was sailing towards them from across the Atlantic. In 1519, Spanish ships appeared on the horizon. At their helm was Hernan Cortés, a man driven by ambition for gold, glory, and God. When he arrived, the Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II saw not a man, but perhaps the return of a feathered serpent god, Quetzalcoatl. This hesitation gave Cortés a crucial advantage. He forged alliances with local tribes who chafed under Aztec rule, gathering a vast army of indigenous warriors. What followed was not just a conquest, but a cataclysmic clash of two worlds: European steel, gunpowder, and horses met obsidian blades and eagle warrior courage, disease. An invisible and devastating weapon swept through the native population. After a brutal siege, the magnificent city of Tenochtitlan fell in 1521, and with it, the Aztec Empire crumbled into dust and memory. A new chapter began, New Spain. On the ruins of Tenochtitlan, Mexico City was built. The Spanish crown, hungry for wealth, turned the land into a vast silver mine. Mines like those in Zacatecas and Guanajuato poured unfathomable riches into Spanish coffers, funding its global empire. Across the landscape, Franciscan and Dominican friars built missions, seeking to convert the indigenous population to Christianity. This era was a complex fusion of cultures. Spanish and indigenous beliefs, foods, and traditions began to blend, creating something entirely new. The Virgin of Guadalupe appeared to an indigenous man, Juan Diego, becoming a powerful symbol of this new, uniquely Mexican identity. But beneath this veneer of cultural mixing, a rigid caste system enforced Spanish dominance. For 300 years, resentment simmered. The people born in Mexico, the Criollos, felt like second-class citizens in their own land. The spark of revolution was waiting to be lit. That spark ignited in the early hours of September 16, 1810. In the small town of Dolores, a priest named Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla rang the church bell, not for mass, but for rebellion. His famous Grito de Dolores, the cry of Dolores, was a call to arms against Spanish tyranny. What started as a small uprising exploded into a full-blown war for independence. It was a long, brutal, and chaotic struggle. Leaders like Hidalgo and José María Morelos were captured and executed, but the dream of a free Mexico refused to die. Finally, after 11 years of bloodshed, independence was declared in 1821. The new nation was born, but its troubles were far from over. The 19th century was a whirlwind of turmoil for the young republic. Political instability was rampant, with presidents and emperors rising and falling in quick succession. The nation was vulnerable. To the north, the United States was expanding. The secession of Texas led to the Mexican-American War, a conflict that ended in a devastating defeat for Mexico. Through the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848, Mexico lost nearly half of its territory, a massive landmass that includes present-day California, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. The wounds of this loss run deep even today, just a decade later. Internal conflicts led to another foreign invasion. France, under Napoleon III, intervened and installed an Austrian Archduke, Maximilian, as the Emperor of Mexico. This Second Mexican Empire was short-lived. Led by the stoic Zapotec lawyer Benito Juarez, Mexican resistance fighters ultimately defeated the French, and Maximilian was executed. Mexico had once again fought for its sovereignty and won. But the peace did not last. The long dictatorship of Porfirio Diaz brought economic growth and modernization, but at a terrible cost. Wealth was concentrated in the hands of a few, while the rural masses lived in poverty. By 1910, the country was a powder keg. The explosion came in the form of the Mexican Revolution, a decade-long civil war that would reshape the nation forever. Charismatic leaders emerged from the dust and chaos. In the north, the brilliant and unpredictable Pancho Villa led his division of the North. In the south, Emiliano Zapata fought tirelessly for Tierra y Libertad, land and liberty, demanding the return of lands to the peasants. It was a war of ideologies, a brutal free-for-all that cost over 1 million lives. Out of this fiery crucible, the modern Mexican state was born. The revolution culminated in the Constitution of 1917, a radical document for its time that guaranteed workers' rights, land reform, and national ownership of resources. The 20th century saw the rise of the PRI, the Institutional Revolutionary Party, which would rule Mexico for an unprecedented 71 years. This period brought stability and economic development, the so-called Mexican miracle, but it also brought political stagnation and authoritarianism. By the end of the century, calls for democracy grew louder, and in the year 2000, the PRI's long hold on power was finally broken. Today, in the 21st century, Mexico stands as a global powerhouse. It is a nation of vibrant culture, a mosaic of ancient traditions and modern innovation. Its food is celebrated worldwide. Its art and cinema captivate international audiences, and its economy is one of the largest in the world. The challenges are real. Economic inequality and security issues remain significant hurdles, but the spirit of the Mexican people is a spirit of resilience, creativity, and fierce pride. Forged through centuries of struggle and triumph endures, from the pyramids of the sun and moon to the bustling streets of its modern cities. Mexico's story is a testament to a civilization that could be conquered but never truly broken, a nation that has risen from its ashes, time and time again, forever reaching for a brighter future. Thanks for watching our deep dive into the epic story of Mexico. If you found this journey through history fascinating, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.